911, what's your emergency?
Oh God, it's David! My neighbor! He's just lying there! On the floor, he's not moving!
Okay, ma'am, calm down. What address are we talking about?
5500 Raphael Drive, Pomfret, Charles County. Please, send someone, fast! He lives alone!
We often hear stories of obsession, of passions that consume us. But what happens when that passion, that deep, unyielding love for something, becomes the very force that twists fate, that pulls the thread of life until it snaps? What happens when the things we cherish most, the creatures we bring into our homes, turn from companions into silent, deadly executioners? Imagine for a moment the quiet comfort of your home, your sanctuary. Now strip that comfort away, replace it with the cold-blooded reality of more than 100 serpents, each a living, breathing enigma, some of them capable of delivering death in a single, lightning-fast strike. This is not a horror movie. This is not a fictional nightmare. This is the chilling true story of David Riston, a man who built a world around these ancient, primal creatures, only for that world to become his tomb. David Riston, at 49 years old, was a private man. His world, in many ways, revolved around the quiet, secluded home on Raphael Drive in Pomfret, Maryland. Neighbors knew him, of course, in the way small communities know each other. Polite nods, a wave from the driveway. But few, if any, truly grasped the extraordinary, indeed, the unseen life that thrummed within the walls of his seemingly ordinary house. David wasn't a flamboyant character. He wasn't seeking fame or notoriety. His passion, it seemed, was deeply personal, intensely focused. From what little we know, it's clear David harbored an almost singular fascination with reptiles, particularly snakes. This wasn't a casual hobby, a fleeting interest. This was a calling. It was his solace, his challenge, his profound connection to a world most people recoiled from. We don't know precisely when David's journey into the world of serpents began, but it's safe to assume it was a gradual descent, a slow immersion into the scaly, silent realm. Perhaps it started with a simple garter snake caught in a childhood yard, or a fascination sparked by a documentary. Over the years, that fascination deepened, evolving into a dedicated pursuit. He wasn't just acquiring snakes, he was studying them, understanding them, building an entire ecosystem within his four walls. David's profession, while not explicitly detailed, was likely something that allowed him the time and the means to cultivate this extraordinary collection. He was meticulous, methodical. His home wasn't a chaotic menagerie. It was an organized, almost clinical environment designed for the specific needs of his scaly inhabitants. He was known to have a valid permit for captive reptiles and amphibians, indicating a level of responsibility and adherence to some regulations, even if the scope of his collection ultimately pushed beyond legal boundaries. This wasn't a man who haphazardly collected animals. This was a dedicated, perhaps even obsessive keeper. He understood their needs, their temperaments, their sheer, unyielding power. He poured himself into caring for these creatures. Each cage, each rack, a testament to countless hours of research, planning, and dedicated upkeep. This wasn't just a house, it was a carefully curated, living museum. His bond with these animals, though silent and without conventional affection, was undoubtedly profound. They were his world, and in that world, David Riston was king. Within David Riston's home, a hidden ecosystem thrived, a tapestry woven from some of the world's most feared and revered reptiles. We're talking about a collection of 124 snakes. That's not a typo, 124, a mix of the relatively harmless and the undeniably, profoundly dangerous. Among them, the stars of this silent, deadly show, the cobra. Iconic, ancient, and utterly lethal, a single bite can deliver a neurotoxin that attacks the nervous system, leading to paralysis, respiratory failure, and ultimately, death. These aren't just snakes, they're living, breathing weapons. Then there was the black mamba, fast, aggressive. Its venom, a potent cocktail of neurotoxins and cardiotoxins, can kill a human in mere hours, sometimes even minutes, without immediate antivenom. It's a creature of terrifying speed and precision. In the rattlesnakes, the venomous vipers native to the Americas, Their telltale rattle a chilling warning before a strike that injects hemotoxins, destroying tissue and blood cells. But the sheer scale wasn't just about venom. There was also the silent, constricting power of a 14-foot Burmese python. While not venomous, a python of that size possesses immense strength, capable of suffocating an adult human in minutes. Its coils can crush bones, stop circulation, and literally squeeze the life out of a victim. These were not wild animals captured from their natural habitats. Most, if not all, were likely acquired through specialized breeders or exotic animal exchanges, traded and sold within a dedicated, often clandestine, community of reptile enthusiasts. Their origins might have been distant lands, but their new home was a suburban residence in Maryland. Here's the critical point. While David had a permit for some captive reptiles, owning venomous snakes as pets is explicitly illegal in Maryland. This wasn't a gray area. It was a clear line in the sand, crossed. Yet authorities noted something extraordinary upon their entry. Despite the sheer volume, the snakes were not neglected. They were meticulously kept in cages and on racks. Charles County Animal Control, with over 30 years of experience, had never seen such a large and well-maintained collection. This speaks to David Riston's profound knowledge, his dedication. He was not a careless owner. He knew the risks. He understood the behavior of these animals. He knew the warnings their very existence presented. And yet, despite all his knowledge, despite all his precautions, one of these meticulously cared-for creatures, one of these silent, dangerous inhabitants, would ultimately claim his life. The question remains, how? The story of David Riston isn't one of sudden, catastrophic failure. It's often a slow burn, a series of overlooked details, an erosion of perfect safety, until the unthinkable becomes inevitable. While we can't know every incident, every close call within David's home, the sheer number and type of venomous snakes he kept suggests a constant dance with danger. Imagine the daily routine: feeding, cleaning, monitoring, each interaction a potential moment for a misstep, a split-second lapse in concentration, a sudden, unexpected movement from a snake. For years, perhaps, David navigated this treacherous terrain with expert precision. He likely had a protocol for everything, a strict adherence to safety measures. But even the most meticulous system has a breaking point. Perhaps it was the increasing size of his collection. Adding more and more animals, even if carefully contained, increases the overall risk. The space becomes tighter, the margin for error shrinks. Maybe a cage latch became worn, or a glass enclosure developed a hairline fracture. We can speculate about minor escapes, snakes momentarily out of their enclosures, quickly recaptured. Each one a quiet warning, a whispered promise of a future catastrophe. Or perhaps it was complacency. The more you work with extreme danger, the easier it is to become accustomed to it, to believe you have mastered it. The line between confidence and overconfidence can be perilously thin when dealing with creatures that operate on instinct, not reason. Did David over time begin to take small, almost imperceptible shortcuts? Did the fear, that vital edge of caution, dull slightly with each successful handling? And we know from the authorities that his snakes were meticulously kept. This suggests a level of care that goes beyond casual ownership. But even in a fortress, there can be a single tiny crack, a momentary distraction, a drop in blood sugar, a flicker of fatigue. In the world of venomous snakes, a single moment is all it takes to turn expertise into tragedy. The very act of living so closely with such potent danger inherently builds an unseen pressure, a constant, low-level escalation of risk, waiting for the precise moment to detonate. January 19th, 2022. The day began like any other for David Riston. The house quiet save for the rustle of scales, the faint scent of substrate and reptile. He was likely going about his routine: feeding schedules, water changes, checking on each of his 124 charges. Imagine David in his element, moving with practiced ease through the maze of racks and enclosures. The air, heavy, humid, perhaps a subtle earthy smell. The low hum of heat lamps. He reaches for a specific cage, a spitting cobra, a magnificent, terrifying creature, known for its ability to project venom with unnerving accuracy, up to 10 feet. Why this snake? Was it feeding time? Was he inspecting a new scale pattern? A shed cycle? Perhaps the first sign was not a bite, but a blinding, burning spray to the face. The venom meant to disable prey, capable of causing excruciating pain, temporary blindness. David, momentarily disoriented, hands instinctively flying to his eyes, stumbled. And in that split second of vulnerability, the strike. Not from the spitting cobra, which may have already done its damage, but from another. Which one? We may never know for certain. Was it a black mamba, coiled and waiting, its lightning-fast strike almost invisible to the human eye? Or a rattlesnake, its warning ignored or unheard in the chaos? The venom now coursing through his veins. Neurotoxins attacking nerve endings, shutting down communication between brain and muscle. Cardiac toxins assaulting the heart. David would have known instantly the gravity of the situation. The burning pain at the bite site, the immediate dizziness, the encroaching numbness. He would have fought, tried to reach his phone, tried to make it to the door. Every instinct screaming for survival. But the venom works fast. The black mamba's poison can induce respiratory arrest within minutes. The cobra's a slower, insidious creep towards paralysis. David, once the master of this domain, now lay helpless. The world around him, the silent, watching eyes of his collection, slowly fading into an encroaching darkness. His final moments alone, surrounded by the very creatures that had been his life, and were now, inadvertently, his undoing. For roughly a day, David Riston lay unresponsive. The silence in his home on Raphael Drive was unusual, disquieting. That's when the neighbor, bless her watchful heart, noticed something was wrong. No movement, no lights, just an eerie stillness. Neighbor. David, are you in there? I'm worried. When her calls went unanswered, when her gut screamed something was terribly wrong, she did what anyone would do. She looked through a window, and what she saw would haunt her. David, on the floor, still. She immediately called 911. Police officer, Charles County Sheriff's Office. We have a potential deceased person, possible medical emergency. Neighbor reports snakes inside. Proceed with extreme caution. First responders arrived, their training kicking in. But this wasn't a typical welfare check. As they approached the house, the neighbors' warning about snakes echoed in their minds. Forcing entry, the door creaking open, they were met with an immediate, overwhelming reality. The sheer number of terrariums, the glint of scales under the dim light, the sudden chilling realization of what they were dealing with. Police officer 2, my God, you gotta see this. It's a whole damn zoo in here. And there he is, on the floor. Paramedics trained for countless emergencies faced a unique and terrifying scene. Their primary goal was to reach David, but the environment was hostile. Every step was calculated, every glance a scan for danger. They quickly confirmed the tragic truth. David Riston was dead, but the danger remained. The house was still teeming with lethal residents. Police officer negative. Subject is deceased. We have multiple, I repeat, multiple snakes, large constrictors, and what appear to be venomous species. We need animal control and possibly specialized units. This is not a safe scene. Witnessing the aftermath, seeing the careful, almost artistic arrangement of the snake enclosures, Charles County Animal Control Chief Ed Tucker, a man with over 3 decades of experience, was stunned. He'd seen many strange things, but never this. In his more than 30 years of experience, he had not encountered this kind of thing before, a spokesperson later remarked. The snakes, despite the inherent danger they pose, were impeccably housed. It was a paradox, a testament to David's care and the silent, deadly instrument of his demise. The discovery of David Riston's body, surrounded by over 100 snakes, sent a ripple of shock through the quiet community of Pomfret and beyond. News vans converged, reporters scrambled for details. The initial reports were almost unbelievable. A man found dead and his killer, a venomous snake, still lurking somewhere within his personal illegal zoo. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner of Maryland conducted the autopsy. The findings were definitive, yet chillingly simple. David Riston died from snake envenomation. He was bitten by a venomous snake, and the potent toxins overwhelmed his system. His death was officially ruled accidental. Accidental, a word that barely scrapes the surface of the complexity of this tragedy. Media reporter. Authorities have confirmed that 49-year-old David Riston died from a venomous snake bite. The extraordinary collection, including cobras and black mambas, now poses a new challenge for local authorities. The immediate pressing concern after the human tragedy was the serpentine one. 124 snakes, many of them highly venomous. Who would handle them? How would they be safely removed? This was no small task. The local animal control, despite their experience, were not equipped for such a massive, dangerous undertaking. Reptile experts from Virginia and North Carolina were quickly called in, specialists with the knowledge and the courage to enter this viper's den. They painstakingly, meticulously, went through each cage, identifying species, assessing risk, and carefully, one by one, securing the animals. It was a monumental effort, a testament to the expertise required to manage such a volatile collection. The media frenzy was intense. David Riston's name became synonymous with the danger of exotic pets. The legality of owning such animals came under renewed scrutiny. In Maryland, possessing venomous snakes as pets is illegal, a fact that underscored the precarious balance David Riston had maintained for years. Despite his permit for non-venomous reptiles, the dangerous nature of his full collection meant he was operating outside the law. Public reaction was mixed. Some were horrified, demanding stricter enforcement of exotic animal laws. Others, within the niche community of reptile enthusiasts, mourned a fellow keeper, perhaps understanding the unique bond, however dangerous, that David had forged with his animals. They debated the ethics, the precautions, the inherent risks. For many, it was a stark, fatal reminder of the immense power of nature, even when contained. There were no legal consequences for David Riston, of course, as he was deceased, but his death sparked conversations, internal reports within animal control agencies, and a renewed push for public awareness campaigns about the dangers of illegal exotic animal ownership. The snakes, once his prized possessions, were eventually transferred to specialized facilities, zoos, or accredited reptile sanctuaries, places equipped to handle such dangerous creatures safely and legally. David Riston built his world around these cold-blooded wonders. He was a master of his domain, a dedicated keeper. He understood their beauty, their power, their silent, lethal grace. But in the end, it was that very power, that inherent, untamed wildness, that claimed him. His story stands as a chilling testament, a stark reminder that even the deepest passion, even the most meticulous care, cannot truly tame the wild heart of nature. And sometimes the very things we love the most, the creatures we choose to bring into our lives, can hold the power of our final, inescapable end.